What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to TCK Films, and today I'll be telling you guys everything I've watched in the month of March. Before we get into everything I watched in March, let me know in the comment section down below all the movies and TV shows you guys watched in March. So as for this month, I think I watched more TV show episodes than movies. I was in a big TV show mood this month, I guess. In saying that, I still did watch a few movies. So starting out, I watched the movie The Whale, starring Brendan Fraser. And the reason I watched this movie is because everyone was saying Brendan Fraser gives the performance of a lifetime in this movie. And he definitely does, and he definitely deserved that Best Actor Oscar win. But as for the rest of the movie, it's just alright. I mean, it's pretty boring at times, pretty weird at times, and it's probably a movie I wouldn't watch if it wasn't for this big, great performance. I like Sadie Sink in this movie, and I can't think of the other actress who plays the nurse in this movie, but all the acting in this movie is really good, but I don't know, it's just not my type of movie, really, and I think it's just kind of boring and weird at sometimes, but it's still a pretty good movie. Next movie I watched, getting ready for Creed 3, I watched Creed 2. I didn't watch Creed 1 because I watched that recently, and before Creed 3 came out, this was probably my favorite Creed movie. In my opinion, it probably still has the best action sequences in a Rocky/Creed movie. It's intense, it's emotional, everything you want in a Rocky Creed movie. I love Drago in this movie, both Dragos, Ivan Drago and his son. The only thing I really wish they did more of was give them more scenes. But yeah, it's just a really great movie, and I could rewatch it and put this movie on anytime. Which leads into my next movie, Creed 3, the new Creed movie that just came out in theaters last month. And I absolutely love this movie. I honestly think, as of right now, it is my favorite in the Creed trilogy. Jonathan Majors is a great villain and probably one of the best opponents in the whole Rocky franchise. Michael B. Jordan as Adonis Creed finally comes into his own in this movie. It's finally a Creed movie without Rocky, and I think Rocky's absence really helped this movie out. It had great action. It was different from all the Rocky and Creed movies, which I really liked. Had amazing performances from Michael B. Jordan, Jonathan Majors, and Tessa Thompson. An overall great story, and I love this movie. As of right now, it's my favorite movie of the year. And next, I watched a new Netflix movie starring Anthony Mackie and David Harbour called We Have a Ghost. Now, this was an awful movie. This was absolutely terrible. I only watched it because it has a great cast with two great leads in David Harbour and Anthony Mackie, and they both did not bring it in this movie. I mean, David Harbour doesn't even speak for the movie, and Anthony Mackie is just like, I don't know, your basic cringy dad in a movie. It's a really cringy, awful movie. I almost turned it off halfway through. It's really bad, generic, cringy. A lot of product placement in this movie, just awful. Netflix has this trend of doing a lot of big budget movies with big actors in it, and then the movie being bad, and this is definitely one of them. And speaking of Netflix movies, I watched You People starring Jonah Hill and Eddie Murphy, and this movie was alright. It wasn't bad. I think it was really funny at some times, and a really funny just type of movie that hasn't been made before. I mean, it has some cringy moments, like Jonah Hill and his girlfriend in this movie. I don't think they had any chemistry whatsoever in this movie, but it had a stacked cast, and I think for the most part they delivered, and it was mostly funny, and I had a fun time with this movie. Then next up, we have the newest DCEU movie, Shazam! Fury of the Gods, which was also just an alright movie. Like, if you want to see my full thoughts, check out my review. It's just another generic superhero movie. Doesn't bring anything new to the table, but it's not awful or anything. Zachary Levi honestly gets worse in this movie than he was in the first one. He plays more of a childish role rather than a 17-year-old in a superhero's body, but it still has that family and heartfelt moments in this movie. And then finally, the last movie I watched, which I told you guys I didn't watch too many movies this month, which was a bit of a random one, but it's one of my favorite movies ever, and it's my favorite MCU movie, Captain America Civil War. This is one of the movies I can just put on anytime, anywhere, and still be entertained by it. It is, in my opinion, the best MCU fight scenes, the best MCU stories, best MCU characters in this movie. It's just amazing. I mean, I think that final fight between Cap, Bucky, and Iron Man is probably the best fight in the MCU, and plus you have that airport fight scene, and just the acting in this movie is just great, especially between Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans. They bring it. Also introduces Spider-Man in this movie. There's really nothing to hate on with this movie. Now, as for TV, I watched a lot of TV. I finished Better Call Saul Season 6. Just started watching it after finished Breaking Bad. I started watching Better Call Saul, and I wasn't a huge fan of the first 4 seasons. The 5th season I really liked. 6th season, in my opinion, was amazing and the best season, and I think I'm gonna rewatch the series because the 6th season really made me want to go back and watch it. It might make me like those earlier seasons a little bit better. I mean, Bob Odenkirk brings it this season. I mean, he always did, but he totally brought it this season. Also, this season has so many twists and shocks and everything. Like Howard Hamlin's death oh my god, I had to just sit for like a half hour and just comprehend what I just watched. It has amazing writing this season, great cinematography, great acting by everyone, amazing ending. I love the ending of the show. I don't think they could have done it any better. Just a great season and is up there with the best Breaking Bad seasons. And next up, I haven't finished the show yet, but I started watching Shrinking on Apple TV, starring Jason Segel and Harrison Ford, and this show is a pleasant surprise. I mean, it's from most of the same writers and crew of Ted Lasso, and this show is honestly a great first season so far. I think I'm on episode 7, and I'm loving it so far. It's hilarious, it has a lot of heart to it, and a great cast. I mean, Harrison Ford, he always brings it. It really hasn't been a bad episode so far. It has some really funny moments, and it's just a great show on Apple TV, and I suggest you guys watch it if you haven't already. Speaking of Ted Lasso, I've started Ted Lasso Season 3, which is coming out weekly, and right now I'm on episode 3, and it's, you know, it's a bit of a slow burn right now. It really hasn't had that Ted Lasso magic yet. You know, Ted Lasso always has a strong finish in the end, in my opinion. I think the season will too. I like where they're heading so far. Just nothing huge or great has happened yet, but I'm enjoying the season so far. Also, Superman and Lois, the only good CW DC show, just started season 3, and so far it's alright. I think I'm on like the 3rd or 4th episode, and I'm not loving it so far. I don't think it's as good as the first 2 yet, but it could have a strong finish. It's definitely so far going to be the one of the most emotional seasons yet, and the actress who's playing Lois has already brought it to the table. She is a great actress, and she's showing it this season. Obviously, there's a recast in Jonathan, which I'm still trying to get used to yet, but this is always just a great show in my opinion, and I'll keep watching for sure, even though it hasn't had the strongest start in my opinion. And also, my dad started watching Breaking Bad, so I was rewatching some with him in the background. But yeah, that is everything I've watched this month, and it's not too much. I was a little bit busy, but this next month I'm trying to watch a movie almost every day. That's my goal. So yeah, let me know in the comment section down below what you guys watched in the month of March this year. Let me know all that in the comment section down below. If you guys haven't already, make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe, turn on your post notifications so you never miss a video, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.